everybody, welcome back to Roxyland. Just to kind of get back into the swing of things, I want to talk about one of my favorite activities at the park that I only recently got into, I guess recently in the last 6 years. I wanted to talk about sort of my 5 top rules and tips and tricks kind of for pin trading. I got into pin trading when I went on a trip to Disney World in 2019 for have I been looking at the camera at all? I hope so. Anyways, I went on a trip in 2019 to Walt Disney World with 4 of my friends. First of all, we had the best time, but my best friend was telling me about pin trading, and I'd always heard about it but never really understood it, and I thought that there was way more to it than there actually is. I think there can be, but we'll also get into that. But she gave me one pin to switch out, and we went up to a cast member and they were super nice, and I was like, it's my first time. Pretty sure it was in Animal Kingdom too, so it was day 2 of our trip. Doesn't matter. And I loved it. I had the best time with it. Pretty much all of these rules or tips and tricks that I'm gonna be giving you are the ones that I stole from my best friend. But we still go to the parks together, we still pin trade. And there's my cat. Merlin! Come here. Do you wanna be in the video? Okay. Alright, so my trick tip number 1 is trade whatever you like. Like I said before, one of the reasons why I didn't get into pin trading was because I thought that I had to trade for better pins and I had to know the worth of all the pins and I had to know what was limited edition and what wasn't, and it honestly was just incredibly overwhelming. But once my friend explained to me that she kind of just trades for whatever she likes, there can be certain sets that you go after, and I've had that happen in the past, but really overall I just sort of trade for whatever is interesting to me. Merlin's playing with his toy, sorry. This is good timing. So if this is your first time pin trading, there are some new rules that are being implemented. One of them is that in some locations you can shadow box trade. So there will be a specific number of pins that are put behind a shadow box where you can see exactly what they are, and you can only trade with pins that you just bought in store. I at first was very averse to this. I really didn't like it. I thought it was just inherently and very openly very greedy, but I talked to a cast member about it and she was explaining that basically they're trying to lower the number of fake pins that are in circulation because so many people are so frustrated with it, which is fair and I completely understand. But the other thing is, if you are trying to complete a new set and you're trying to find one specific one, 2 specific ones to complete the set, and you keep buying the pins and you keep getting the same ones over and over and over again. With this one, now with shadow box trading, you can buy a pack in store, take it to the cast member, they'll open it for you. If you get what you want, great. If you didn't get the ones that you were looking for, then you can trade for what's in the shadow box. There's also, I think this was rolled out kind of only in the last year, but they're now starting to implement little Mickey diamonds on the back of some of the pins, and that's another way to verify the authenticity of the pins. And I'm sure, I mean, there's been so many things, so many ways that Disney has tried to regulate the Hi Merlin! There's been so many ways that Disney has tried to regulate the fake pins getting into circulation, and I'm sure after a while this will be something that people can replicate pretty easily, but I think it's a good start. But that leads me into my next fun fact, is you can do trivia at the parks. Obviously this just sort of across the board with pin trading, if you're gonna be there for a bit, make sure there's not like a massive line in front of you. I think that's just etiquette, but you can go up to a cast member if there's no line behind you and say, hey, do you do trivia? I have been really stumped by a lot of the trivia, and I thought I knew a lot about the parks and Disney movies, but yeah, they've really stumped me a couple times, but it's fun. So once you ask the employee to do trivia with you, if you answer correctly, they will give you one of a specific number of pins that they have put out. Usually these aren't on the trading board. These are sometimes behind the desk, sometimes in their pocket, and sometimes it's their own personal pins to trade, which is super cool. Usually for those though, you'll need to trade the ones that have the diamond on the back, anything that's limited edition. You can also just give them your pins and they'll be able to figure out what they can trade for. But it's just sort of cool. It's a cool way to find pins that you won't really find elsewhere, and also get some really, really nice limited edition pins. So for tip, trick, rule number 4, I just briefly want to talk about the etiquette with pin trading, and this is something that I had to be taught because nobody really ever explains it, and thankfully my best friend was able to walk me through it, especially considering it was literally my first time doing this. Obviously, as mentioned before, don't take a long time if there's a huge line behind you, but that's a given. The main rule is that you can really only trade 2 pins at a time. The other rule is you are not allowed to trade anything that is already on the board. Obviously, you can trade the same character, you can put the same color pin on the board, you can put the same set, but if the board already has one green Mickey Macaroon, you cannot put another one. Also, try not to trade any pins that are broken. I have heard so many people in line saying, "Oh, this is broken, will you take it?" Or, "Oh, make sure you give her the broken one and we'll get a better one." And exactly. I just think it's really rude. Yeah. He's now, I guess, a part of my videos. My last tip, trick, is just to have an easily accessible way of trading your pins. So the first thing that I had, actually my friend gave this to me, was this little elephant. The only downside was that it was really hard to see what I had, and I felt like I was wasting people's time when I was digging through this thing. So that has been retired, unfortunately. It's gone to pin heaven. Then I transferred to, actually this is gonna be slightly inaccurate. I have this Splash Mountain bag, but I would put them in here. It was easy to see what I had and I could work with that. Recently, however, I have put most of my pins on cardboard. You can't see that, cardboard, just so that they're a little bit easier to grab and I can view them a little bit easier. Also, these are all of the special ones that have the diamonds on the back, so I know they've been verified and I can just easily pull this one out for trivia. I also have this one. This is sort of gonna be my like burner pins for now. A lot of places and a lot of really great small businesses on Etsy will sell specific bags that you can use for pin trading. I think that's great. They're super cute. They're all themed. They're great quality. I just was impatient and found cardboard at my house and decided to put them on cardboard. The only thing that I love more than pin trading, really, is candles! And this video is sponsored by the Magic Candle Company.
Use code ROXYLAND15 to get 15% off of your order and also help support the channel. With spring and summer coming up, I have absolutely been loving the Flying Over Orange Grove scent and the Pineapple Whip scent. They just remind me of so many wonderful memories of being at the park in the summer, and I honestly can't get enough of them. So again, that's ROXYLAND15 to get 15% off of your order and also help support me and my channel. Thank you!
I also have a pin board. It is right here in the back. Ooh, that's hard to do. There it is. If there's any specific pin that I pick up at the park that I really like or particularly want to keep, I'll put it on there. I also have a ton of pins that aren't Disney on there. If for some reason one of them isn't necessarily my favorite anymore, I'll put it back in the bag and I'll trade it at the park. Overall, it's definitely a not necessary part of going to the parks, but I've had great conversations with cast members when I've been trading with them, and it's definitely silly. And if you go to the park and you don't pin trade, I'm not gonna be like, well, you didn't experience the park properly. But I enjoy it. I think it's a fun bonding thing. I'm too afraid to pin trade with people at the park who aren't cast members. Yeah. That's it. But anyways, thank you so much for watching. This has been a really fun return back to my channel and kind of just a nice way to sit and chat about something that I really enjoy and something that I'm still learning about. Thank you all for watching. Genuinely, it means the world, and the fact that I get to just sit and chat about theme parks is really fun. If you liked what you saw, go ahead and give this video a like, because honestly it really helps within the YouTube algorithm. Also, go ahead and subscribe if you are interested in seeing more of me talking, because I do it a lot. You can find me on Instagram at RoxyLandMedia, and you can email me at roxylandmedia@gmail.com. I have a TikTok, there's nothing happening there. And I also have a Twitter, and there's also an X, sorry, and there's nothing happening there either. Thank you again. I will be making more of these videos in the future, I promise, because I've been writing stuff, so this will be a good icebreaker for me to get back into it. But thank you so much and have a wonderful day. My last tip, ooh, I have 2 bangs right now, hold on. Sure.